Steel Valley Piper here, posting my video response to Ben, the Iron Brigade Piper, Piper's 100 sub giveaway. First, I want to congratulate you on 100 subs, and secondly, thank you for your generosity on having this. Your question was who our hero was growing up, and it's a deceptively difficult question because, at least for me, and I think probably for all of us, we have different heroes at different times, and maybe in different things. Sports heroes, military heroes, maybe political heroes, maybe personal heroes, religious heroes. It could be anywhere across the spectrum, and they probably change as we get older. I know when I was young, my heroes had always been cowboys, and some of the folks who were in reruns like the Lone Ranger and Roy Rogers and Maverick were heroes when I was very young, even though their heyday on TV had long passed. And then get into sports more as you get a little bit older, and I had heroes in baseball and football. But I think the answer is probably both. Is that as I reached my teens, went through boyhood and then reached my teens, I think I had my last genuine hero, and for a good reason. And I know that it's not uncommon, I think, for people to have relatives as heroes. They see them a lot. They see what they do under perhaps difficult circumstances or passing along important lessons. But it was at that age, right at the brink of 15 and 16, that which is a little old, and you say, well, that's long past the time of growing up. But it's the time when you're maybe growing up ultimately from transitioning from boyhood to young adulthood. And it was at that time that my father contracted cancer and died in a period of 8 months, from being healthy to being gone. And strangely enough, it was during that 8 months that I saw my father in ways that I had not up to that point, and gave me a respect and appreciation for him, and a different kind of heroism in how he faced death. My father, growing up, he was always a good man, patient, kind, with a good sense of humor. Had to work a lot. Had his own business and a small business, and worked a lot. And I know as a boy, my most fun times, or among my most fun times, were times spent with him, but they were not frequent enough for me. Whether it was throwing the ball around in the backyard or going fishing, going to ball games, it didn't happen enough. And sometimes I would help him with chores around the house to help him finish earlier, so we would have time to throw the ball, baseball or football, in the backyard. But when you're a boy, you see your parents as a child sees them. And you see them usually in their day-to-day ways. But when my father had cancer and knew fairly quickly in that 8 month period that it was terminal, I was able to see how a man handles death, and what he does, and to me, the way my father handled it was nothing less than heroic. He took care of his obligations and preparing his family for his passing. He prepared himself, that means both emotionally and financially, but also I think spiritually he got himself in order, and I think he was always a relatively spiritual man, at least faithful in generally speaking. But I think he saw properly what was coming, and that it was important that he be that's something that no one can do for you, and that he did that himself, and he did that in a way that was personal, not flamboyant, but it was clear that he was taking those steps. And finally, just in the sense of confronting it in a courageous way, in a way of never really giving in to the disease, never really saying that's it, always fighting it down to the last days, such that he took me aside as his son and said, "Look, it may be times when people will tell you, yeah, just let him go. It's okay. It's better if he goes." And he said, "I want you to be strong enough to say no. He wants to live as long as he's able to live. You fight this all the way down the line." And that was in the face of I know painful, physically painful, and probably emotionally painful circumstances, and he did it in a way that was a lesson. I hope I don't have to deal with that. If I do, I hope I can deal with it nearly as well. But it was a lesson, and it was a lesson, in a heroic lesson, in the sense that it showed you both the things that you need to consider as a man, and also the way you need to deal with adversity, and frankly the ultimate adversity. In a way, I think he saw it as a blessing that he knew he was dying and had time to do all those things. And I think he saw his treatment. It wasn't for show, but I think he saw it as a way to give one last lesson. So anyway, that's my answer as to who my hero was when I was growing up. Again, thanks for the giveaway, and best wishes to all of you. Congratulations, and best wishes for your next 100 subscribers and beyond. Thanks.